Well, hey guys, today is today. Not yesterday and it's not tomorrow. April 10th. And here at Crazy Town. So, did my opening video yesterday. Last night was pretty damn good. Don't even know how to tell the story, but I'm going to give it a try. So, how it started was like normal, a few twinkle lights here and there, and then had a couple, 3 light zaps, it was kind of pow, pow, pow. And, which is nothing unusual. It's kind of a normal occurrence. But as we progressed into the night, I was over there in my zero gravity chair. And I had it laid back and was kind of looking up at the stars. And all of a sudden it felt like I had a large hand on my chest. And this is not the first time I've had that happen. And those of you who've been with me for a while, it's been a while since that had happened. But I got power zapped and was paralyzed, unable to move. I could think, I could talk just fine. Yeah, and so I'm telling the guys what's going on, and Chuck and Chris both could see a distortion literally right behind me. And the part that was interesting about it was it felt like it was Indy. I just kept having this feeling it was Indy, but Indy is deceased, so it was not Indy, but it was just that kind of familiar power behind it, signature to it, best way I could describe it. But this lasted for, I don't know, in between 10 to 15 minutes, and that was done and over with, and I was just filled with elation after it, and just a lot of energy. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm really, really surprised, because normally I get power zap like that, and about 40 minutes later, it's like all I can do to stay awake, and that didn't happen last night with it. That was the first time that part of it just kind of clicked with me. But anyway, so we were having movement all around the camp, and, and some twinkle lights. And the next thing I knew, well, let me back up. Chuck was saying that he thinks there was a distortion between him and me. And Chris had thought he was seeing a distortion also, and it was dawning on me that we were completely engulfed in this distortion. I started turning around in a circle, and everywhere I looked was this wavy pattern. And, and I holding my hand up close to my face and holding it kind of far away. And this distortion was everywhere, and the best way I can describe it is that I was inside the distortion, and everywhere I looked was distorted. I know it doesn't make much sense. It's hard to explain it, and like I've said so many times before, that some of this stuff is just really hard to explain in a way that that you, my viewers, can understand this, because if you're not here experiencing it, it's almost impossible to explain it. So I'm doing the best I can with explaining this. But so this was going on for a while, and I had got to the point where it's like, all right, thinking to myself, I've got something that I'm going to ask her and state out loud. And so I asked out loud, I said, I don't know if I can ask a question of you or something to that extent. And then I said, I speak the name of Jesus over you. Was not expecting to happen what had happened. Chuck didn't see much of this, but Chris could see it in living color just like I could. So this area in the trees that's right behind me, when I spoke the name of Jesus over them, it lit up like the 4th of July, but with static, and had all these colors that were just... Chris described it, and its perfect description is that it was like the Aurora Borealis was static all over it. And that's what Chris and I were both seeing over there. And Chuck really wasn't able to... I mean, he could see a little bit of the static, but not to the extent of what Chris and I were experiencing. And you know, Chuck ended up calling it a night, and I'm sure his video he's going to post up on the channel also, which, you know, we'll go into some of the detail of this. But he'd gone to bed, and Chris and I were here, and all of a sudden it was like I got challenged. And the name that I got from this individual was... now I'm drawing a blank. Paradagon. Was Paradagon, a member of the GAN. But what I got at first was Gun. And it was like, okay, you're a member of the GAN. And it took a couple of times to get the name right, but it was Paradagon. And he was challenging me, and I don't mean in a bad way or in a dangerous way or anything negative. And you know, the best way I can describe is that, you know, picture 200 years ago, and a white man comes into a Native American tribe, and you know, kind of gets accepted by the tribe, and well, here's a good example: dances with wolves. You know, so picture that. Except one of the head warriors has been gone and out on a spiritual journey or what have you, and he comes back to the tribe and finds this white man, you know, accepted by the tribe and interacting with the tribe. And he already knows about the white man because somebody else had told him about the white man in the tribe, and he wants to see for himself who and what this individual is all about. Well, that's kind of what last night felt like this was about. And, you know, so I stood up and I acknowledged his challenge, and I spoke out loud, and, you know, and pretty sternly, and standing my ground, and, you know, who is this speaking the name of Jesus over us? And what authority do you have? You know, and this is kind of what I was getting in my head. And so I was very, very stern and solid, you know, in my answers that, yes, I have the authority to speak the name of Jesus. And you know who I am, and I stand here in front of you, and I have no fear of you. And it was just a very powerful moment. And, you know, and there was 3 individuals that were standing directly in front of me. And at one point, you know, we got eye glow from them, you know, and Chris saw the eye glow. He's like, "Did you see the eye glow?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And you know, and so this lasted, I don't know, less than 10 minutes maybe. And then I came back and we sat down here, and Chris and I were trying to understand exactly, you know, what the hell did we just experience, and what did we see, and, you know, and that's what so much of this is about, is, you know, and get these experiences and just trying to wrap, you know, our meager little minds around these powerful things that happen out here. But just an absolutely stunning night. First night of the season, come out and just level 10. Pow. I just thought it was absolutely amazing. Curious to see how tonight's going to go. We'll see. I don't know how I can improve on last night, but it could happen. So we'll see what happens. As always, I love each and every one of you. Thank you for taking your time to listen to this goofy old man. And, you know, please be good to yourselves. Please be good to those around you. Please, please, please pay close attention to your surroundings. Peace out.